What's going on, guys? So, in this video, I'm going to talk about how not all calories are equal. Um, what sparked the idea for this was, I eat the same exact foods every single day. It's just an easier way of being able to track, like how much protein I'm getting in, what my carb sources are, and being able to really like monitor what's going on with my body. And then if I want, I can like add this, I can take this out, I can add more protein, get rid of some fats, some carbs, whatever I want to do. So, I'm kind of like in the process of getting leaner. And, so obviously, naturally, when I wake up in the morning, I look in the mirror, kind of like lift my shirt up. Hey, how do I look? Whatever. And for a while, what I was doing was like right before bed, I was eating, each meal I have like one carb that I give myself. And the carb that I gave myself for my last meal for a while was half of a bagel. And it amounted to about 130 calories because a whole bagel has 260. So 130 calories from a bagel. And when I would wake up in the morning, I wouldn't really have a lot of like abdominal definition. And there'd be like kind of a little bit of like almost bloat that I would see, not like significant. And it wasn't uncomfortable, but I would just like visually, that's what I would see. And, I've had these like oats laying around, oatmeal. And I decided, I was craving it. I was craving oatmeal. So I'm going to, pour in a cup of oatmeal. And one cup is 300 calories. So I ate a cup of oatmeal and, dry, a cup of oatmeal is 300. Just want to clarify that. And then, I ate it. Next day, I was leaner. Like I woke up, I had like visually just clearly more defined abs. My lower abs were defined, no bloating whatsoever. I felt better, and I had over twice the amount of calories. Okay, so there's a few things going on here. Uh, First thing is your the reason that not all calories are equal is because there are so many components to and aspects to like what goes on with the food that you eat once it enters your system and how it reacts to your body, how your body reacts to it, rather. So, like, for example, obviously oatmeal is going to have more fiber than a bagel, right? So even if you're having the same amount of calories for each, well, oatmeal is going to help your digestive system move along. And the thing about your digestive system is that every single part of your digestive system, from the moment that you eat something and it's in your mouth to the moment, the very end, your colon, whatever, you're constantly absorbing micronutrients and calories and minerals from the foods that you take in. Every single part of your digestive tract plays a role in absorption of nutrition, basically. So if your if your digestion isn't moving at an adequate pace, what'll happen is food will sit in a certain part of your digestive system for longer than it should. And the micronutrients that would be absorbed in the next part of the digestive process are potentially going to be compromised because of that. So, like, for example, let's say you're kind of backed up and you're eating, in your mind, the right foods, and something is just sitting in your stomach for a little bit longer than it should. Well, maybe there are micronutrients sitting in your stomach that would be absorbed by the next part of the digestive process, but because of the acid in your stomach, those micronutrients then become stripped. They become compromised. They become eroded, right? So that's why you want, proper digestion so that you can have things moving along at the right pace, right? So, you want fiber, and here's the thing is like, even if you deduct the calories that you get from the fiber from that 300 calories, it's still more calories from the carbohydrates than from the bagel. So I would still have been in a calorie surplus, but because of that fiber, it helped move things along. So that's number one. But there are other aspects to it. Like obviously there's going to be like micronutrients, there's going to be compounds in food. So like you, you might have 300 calories from one carb and 300 calories from another carb, and one of the carbs has more micronutrients that allow your body to perform more optimally. And so there's going to be ways in which your body is going to benefit from the carbohydrate that you ate that has 300 calories, with those micronutrients, than if it had the other, 300 calories from like Pop Tarts, right? Um, and going back to my example, oatmeal has something called gravesides in it. It's either gravisides or gravesides. And basically, what these do is they limit the amount of SHBG floating around in your system. SHBG is sex hormone binding globulin. And what sex hormone binding globulin does is it attaches itself to testosterone flowing in your bloodstream, which then lowers your free testosterone. So, oatmeal has these gravesides, which lower SHBG, which then allows your free testosterone to raise. So if you eat oatmeal, even if you're having 100 calories more from carbohydrates by eating that oatmeal, well, the oatmeal is going to lower your SHBG and raise your free testosterone. Well, when you have more free testosterone in your body is now in a better state for becoming leaner, right? It's going to more effectively be able to be lean, because free testosterone, we all know, like, why do people take testosterone? Oftentimes because they want to look better. And how do you look better? By losing body fat, right? Testosterone is very effective at that. So, things that you wouldn't even think about. So a lot of the times, people who do this whole if it fits your macros thing, I don't even know if that's still a thing, but 10 years ago, back in the day, OG YouTube fitness era, there was this if it fits your macros thing, and people were popularizing eating Pop Tarts, and as long as everything fit a certain calorie allotment and a certain macronutrient breakdown, then it was fine to eat that. So if as long as you hit your carbs, you can get your carbs from Pop Tarts. As long as you hit your protein, you can get your protein from fried chicken or whatever. And yeah, I mean, maybe you can get away with that for a bit, but once the micronutrient and fiber deficiency, micronutrient deficiency and fiber deficiency and mineral deficiencies catch up with you, you're not going to have a body that has an environment that is as conducive to muscle building or just feeling good in general as you would if you had the exact same amount of calories, the exact same macronutrient breakdown from better foods, right? Like if I had two scenarios in my head, like, okay, you could have, like, somebody told me you have to, get leaner over the course of the next 6 months. You have two options: either 2,500 calories from, oatmeal, whole eggs, egg whites, salmon, chicken breast, ground beef, low moisture mozzarella cheese, or 2,200 calories, but it's all from Pop Tarts and fried chicken and, French fries. Even if, like, okay, the macronutrients were somehow broken down the exact same way, and the calories, like I said, the shitty food was 2,200 calories, and the better foods that I listed prior were 2,500 calories, I would pick the 2,500 calories. I would, because like just the hormonal uh the hormonal support that those foods would have would offset the extra 300 calories. And in fact, it would take those 300 calories and utilize them in a more productive way rather than just storing them as fat. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be kind of careful when you're trying to like count calories, like calories in versus calories out. Well, it's not just calories in versus calories out, because there are so many aspects to it. It's not like people have this idea like, okay, all you need is like go on Google, go ask Google AI or Chat GPT, like, okay, how many calories do I need? Okay, Google AI or Chat GPT said that I need this many calories. Okay, and then I guess now all I have to do is just like buy whatever random foods I want and then just see whatever, calories are on the box. It's not that simple because first of all, whatever the internet, like Google, ChatGPT, whatever, like whatever they say your calorie allotment for the day is, it's not going to be accurate because there's like millions of aspects to your body that it doesn't know, it can't take into account. And then the labels on foods tell you absolutely nothing about how it's going to interact with your body once it's in your body, how it's going to influence your hormones, so on and so forth. So and your digestion and all of that. So keep that in mind. It's not just calories in, calories out. Like there are so many aspects to this. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Feel free to subscribe. Have a good day and bye.